this to me right now. Damn
Hang
it.
on, as long.
Why did you do this?
I've never gotten that. It was like failed to go live. Try again.
Give me a second.
Well, Greg, we're live. We're only
Yeah,
giving you
yeah.
so many seconds.
Amazing that your mic stand, or my mic stand. I was talking to myself and with crazy.
Okay.
But,
Just keep going.
my boom arm currently decided that it was not going to stay attached to my and so now I have to reattach it.
That's what happens to my boom arm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. People watching the video, hang tight. We're gonna get started. I swear. At some point. Something about news that we give a damn about. Also, I'll
Wait, we still do that?
actively give a shit about news for a moment. See if I missed anything. I mean, I did, but I got the important things.
All right, that's good. I'll deal with if it falls over again later.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Is your body okay? I'll
My
since
body is always. Anyways, go.
Since we're in the pre-show garbage, I watched the first 18 minutes of Bloodborne on IGN just because I was curious. I wanted to see like a high res demo of it.
How's
Yeah,
that look?
That game looks real good. It is there is like a hub, kind of like Demon Souls, that's like separate.
Okay.
But it's the world is like Dark Souls. It looks like, but there is like a separate hub area that you can go to do all your crafting and repairing and everything.
That's nice because Dark Souls 2, you had to do it all like on yourself.
Yeah, I mean there was
never mind.
There was the
There
blacksmith and stuff in
Yeah,
Dark Souls
that's
2
right.
had more of a hub than Dark Souls 1 did.
That's true.
And it's called the Hunter's Dream because you're a hunter. That's what you are. Also, there's no classes. You get an option of like 3 weapons and 3 side weapons. And you just pick whatever you want. So.
Oh, that's right. The Order comes out soon. Shit.
Yeah. So it looks good. And just general information. The game looks sharp. There is still a you defeated type thing, and a you died type thing, and some form of checkpoints like bonfires. So I'm
Dark
game.
Souls 2, it comes out in April for PS4. So.
Yeah. Greg, remember we talked about this recently. Remember how that game like was totally ugly on my PS3 because it was so old and ruined everything?
Yeah. Yeah.
I totally forgot about that until I went back and watched some of the Let's Play videos I did, and I'm like, yeah, man, I can't wait to play Dark Souls 4 again. Or Dark Souls 4. Dark Souls 2
4?
on
Wait,
my
what
PS4.
alternative universe do you live in, and how many were
There's a lot of Demon Souls in that alternate universe. It's a yearly franchise. 3 Demon Souls and 4 Dark Souls. All right,
I'm a fan. I'd never be able to get through all of them.
Oh, God, no. They're all like 70 hours long. Because.
Each harder than the last.
Yep.
Because that's how those games work.
Yep.
and with bugs that make everything harder.
I don't need bugs to make me harder. Oh, all right. Let's start.
Yes, you do.
Ladies, get like a nice leech, like a crotch leech going. I'm so sorry to the people who watch the video. It is Wednesday, February 11th, 2015, and you're listening to Irrational Passions podcast. I am Alex O'Neill. In this unorthodoxly recorded podcast, I have with me at the moment Scott Guth here.
Hey.
And Greg Blaney.
It's Saturday Night Live!
Making your triumphant return, Greg.
Yeah, I'm back.
Evan was supposed to be on tonight. We did Wednesday. I was like, Evan, can you work this in? He was like, yes. And then
But every time he says yes, it's really just no, and I fucking hate all of you.
literally 25 minutes ago, he texted us and said, I will not be there. I'm sorry. Nabashin and Tony, I think Tony should be joining us, but Nabashin should be joining us soon. We didn't do any pre-show content. We're not warmed up, really, except we talked about Bloodborne for like a hot second. So we're just going to like go right into it. It's going to be a shorter show like last week, which is not...
We don't even have a doc. We're just going to ad-lib everything.
Yeah. God, I couldn't do this show without a doc. Let's be real here. I did episode 200 without a doc, and I was like stressing out passively the whole time because of the show wasn't working, but that was not like a passive stress. I was like sweating bullets. You were all there. You saw.
Yeah, I saw.
But yeah, so we're just gonna kind of go through the show a little bit faster. Nabashin has a thing this weekend, and it's his birthday this weekend. So we did the show early, so he would be on it. Of course, he'll be joining us late, but that's fine. And yeah, it's gonna be shorter. It's gonna be weird, probably because people will be coming in late. And I'm sorry, last week's show is not out yet. I just got Tony's podcast file today, so I'm gonna edit that tomorrow, most likely. Or Friday, probably. So it'll probably go up Friday. And then this will come out on schedule on Tuesday next week. So I apologize for that. It's just been a hectic week for me, and Tony just decided not to upload his file. So we'll be back on track next week. And we will record regularly next week on Friday. So hopefully, if no one dies or something.
I might have a problem with that.
Of course you do, Scott. Always. You know what I say about Scott Guthier? Problem child. No. So I'll do some house cleaning first, and then we're going to talk about video games and catch up with Greg, because we miss you, Greg. It's been a month. So some house cleaning things tonight, Wednesday night, just before we're recording this, I recorded Waffles versus Pancakes episode 3, which Greg, you don't even know about.
To me, yeah.
So,
I've been seeing this. I'm just like, what the fuck is Waffles versus Pancakes?
Branch,
I really hope it's just a discussion about breakfast food.
It is not. It is a non sequitur title, which is, if you're not familiar with the non sequitur, it's a type of rhetoric that is just you are jumping from one topic to the next with no segue, pretty much.
Neat.
So it is a non sequitur title for us to talk about pretty much whatever we want. Video games. Me and Brant Ramblin' Range, as Greg Miller had dubbed him, who was on our Game of the Year content, previous host of Minor League Geeks, and soon to be re-host of Minor League Geeks when it comes back this year. That's kind of like we said, hey, let's try this, and we like it, so we're going to keep doing it every Wednesday around 6:30, it looks like, Eastern. So that's like a 30-minute video show that you can watch. Episode 3 was just recorded, so obviously it's just video, so it's up now. You can go watch it now. We talked about, I don't even remember. We talked about new technology that you go absolutely insane for and have to buy. Rabid. So something everyone but Scott here is familiar with.
Yep.
But it was a fun show. We always go off topic and just talk about waffles and pancakes at some point because we have to reference the title. And usually every episode of that we reference Majora's Mask in some detailed way.
I'm really excited that you actually talk about waffles and pancakes. Because
Brant thought of the title, and we introduced it last week because for the pilot episode we didn't really have a title. And since we're going to continue doing this weekly, he was just like, I have a perfect title for this. And I'm like, what the fuck could this be? I was not expecting waffles versus pancakes, but it grew on me overnight, and I loved it by the next day, so I love it. I think it's a great name for whatever the fuck that show is. And it's fun. It's 30 minutes, so go watch it. YouTube.com/IrrationalPassions, obviously, where you can watch the video version of this podcast as well.
Your next topic should be peanut butter or syrup.
Peanut butter.
No, peanut butter, or I should have said peanut butter or butter. That's my fault.
Peanut butter or butter, or syrup or butter. But
syrup or butter.
You do both, right? You do a little butter, let it melt, and then pour the syrup on it.
Anyways, continue.
Anyway, that's a fun thing. Go check it out. It's just me and Brant. I don't know if we'll ever have guests on that, but another podcast video type project is in the works. That I will be a part of as well. I like doing things where I don't have to do any work for it, pretty much. Because
I have no life.
Well, this forthcoming podcast would launch in March. With details kind of tentatively being worked out between Brant, myself, and a few other parties, and I will not be editing or hosting that podcast. So that will be something. Details forthcoming. We're still kind of in the planning phase of that. I just figured I'd tease it here. Doing a lot of weird stuff. I'm doing weird stuff in 2015 because fuck it. Greg, you recorded... No, you didn't. That's right. You didn't record Muppets this week. Sorry.
No, we did not. But episode 20 is out.
Yeah, it's been out for a couple weeks. We mentioned it last week. Go get it if you haven't already. Monthly
Yeah, that
Passions.
was like one of the shortest podcasts that we ever did, too.
I know, shorter than the Lost episode.
Yep.
Sadness. That was a good Lost episode.
Episode
though.
19, We'll Miss You Forever.
Yeah. I like that. I had fun with that one. Yeah, that is up on the website, MupX20. Like we mentioned last week, there was a little problem with the audio, but it's been fixed. Correct, Greg?
Yeah, there was an issue with one of the songs. I accidentally turned it down because I was working on something else, and so I turned it back up and reloaded it, and Alex posted it back up. Thank you, Alex.
No problem. It was that stuff is pretty easy to fix. So.
Yeah, it was. Shout out to if my Twitter would work, Christian Panett for telling me about it.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christian, for holding up that Mup Fortress. I think not MupX. Monthly Passion is going to be up soon, either tonight or tomorrow.
I should do one of those.
I just have to do the cover art. Well, you can do February since you got Evolve, so you can post about that. So that's January's Monthly Passions: Dying Light, Life is Strange, and I forgot the third game. It's something Novition played. That'll be up soon. And so will the Dying Light review. That's finally in the final phase of editing. So that's it for house cleaning. Oh,
who's doing that one?
Jared's doing
Jared.
That. Yeah. I played it with him.
I'm curious, did you have any interest in that game?
I have it. I own it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I got it, and I played it with Jared. Jared got a review code. He reviewed it, and I really like that game. Oh, I did play that, I guess, in the last week since I finished it. That's an excellent game, I think.
Okay.
Jared isn't as high up on it as me, but he agrees that it is a ton of fun.
I've only watched YouTubers play it, and they've gotten to the part of Ghazi, and I laughed my ass off. I was just like, this is the most stupidest, ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Ghazi's so smart. Ghazi's level of smartness is 10.
You know Ghazi is like a mentally challenged character, right?
I know. It's hilarious.
I don't think it's funny. I thought it was handled pretty well, honestly. It was very sad.
Granted, I've only watched little bits and pieces on YouTube of YouTubers playing it. They've cut through stuff, but they were making fun of it, and I thought it was hilarious.
Well, those people are probably terrible.
I'm
not saying. Well, yeah. Let's be real here. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so that's it. I think that's all the house cleaning. Let's talk about video games. Greg,
So
you haven't been on in a month. What has been
not.
occupying your time?
A lot of War Thunder. Yeah, big surprise, right? I talk about this game a lot. Recently, the Armored Generals, well, not really DLC, but that's what they're calling it. They basically released American tanks, finally. So there's the American tech tree for tanks now. And a heads up with that is that like they were talking a little bit on another update that they were doing on Facebook. I forget which one it was about. But like they are working on putting the British in the game and creating desert maps as well, so that's coming out soon. But I've just been playing a lot of War Thunder, and that game is still really, really pretty and fun to play.
Yeah.
I just think that a lot of the balancing needs to be fixed. I mean, it's still in beta, so I mean, I can't really complain too much, but they do need to tweak a little bit of the tank balancing for higher tier tanks. The American tanks are alright. You really have to grind through them, unfortunately, to get through all those Shermans, because there's a lot of them, and not all of them are great. Not until you get to the 76mm gun on most of your tanks. That way you can penetrate Tigers, because you go up a lot against Tigers even at like tier 3, and that's, I mean, it's tier 2, and the Tiger is a tier 3 tank with I think like a 5.7 battle rating or something like that. So it's a tough nut to crack, and it's really annoying to go against those things because they'll just one-hit you if you come across them. Other than that, I've also been playing a lot of just simulator battles in War Thunder, and like if you look at War Thunder is divided into like 2 separate games almost. You have like your arcade mode where you can take planes or you can take tanks, and you can just go kind of like World of Tanks style against people, but it's got more realistic damage models. than World of Tanks. So, like, if you hit somebody in the lower glacis or the upper glacis, you're gonna do critical damage. If you hit somebody in the turret cheek, you're gonna do critical damage. If you hit somebody in the ass, you're gonna do critical damage.
Isn't that the truth? All right, ladies? I'm just kidding.
But things like realistic battle and simulated battle, which I mostly play now, because it's more challenging, and I enjoy driving a tank in like the commander's view. Like everything about it is perfect almost. It's beautiful. Like it's challenging. You have like a hard time seeing different tanks. You can hide in the forest, and you can wait for an enemy to come across the hill, and you can shoot at them. And I think that what they're doing right now is really, really good, and they've got a great sound design. I just think that they need some balancing with their matchmaker, and they're going to have a fantastic game on their hands here soon. So, yeah, just loving War Thunder.
Yeah, I mean, balancing's like the last thing that happens. And it's also the hardest
Usually,
thing
yeah.
that happens.
Which is why I'm not, like, smashing the game right now for it. I
I
think that they need to work on it.
You're right. I think about like League of Legends or Dota or any kind of MOBA. There's a balancing patch every week. So
and War Thunder doesn't really do that every week. They put out one huge patch every few months, and it adds a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, they're even working on right now the Mouse tank, which is a German super heavy tank. It was a prototype tank. It's got I'm gonna probably get yelled at by all the German tank players because I'm going to say 120 millimeter gun on it, but I might be wrong there. But it's also got a 75 millimeter gun beside it, and it's the heaviest tank that the Germans ever built, and it's going into the game. So it's going to be real fun playing against those IS-4s and wrecking them because those guys are assholes.
So is it like World War II or World War One through modern design, or is it just like one era of tank?
It's World War One to Cold War, I think, is what they're going up to. Because in the planes they have Cold War, like they have jets in the game.
Okay, so through 80s-ish?
Yeah, relatively, yeah.
Okay. I was just like, it'd be. I feel like it'd be so unfair if this heaviest German tank or whatever from 1970 is going up against like a 2010 modern American tank.
No, that's not going to happen. There's a game actually coming out. A side note called what is it called? It's called not Armored Warfare. It might. No, that game's already out.
Warface. I'm just kidding. It's not Warface.
Yeah. I can't remember the name, but it's got all modern military tanks in a World of Tanks style. So that's going to be really interesting. But no, War Thunder goes up from I think the last bit of the World War I all the way up to the very start of the Cold War. That's why the IS-4 is in the game. It was technically a Cold War tank, even though it saw battle in World War II. Because I think 500 of them were made during World War II, but then way more were made after. But that tank just wrecks almost every German tier tank or high German tier tank because of that gun and its armor, and it's a really obnoxious tank to play against. So,
this is interesting. Yeah, I'm curious to see how they balance it for being a video game and still being fun, but also paying homage and respect to the source material. That's always a fascinating thing with these historical type games. What else have you been playing, Greg?
League of Legends. I got back into it because they finally got to season, what are we on, 5? And so I was like, all right, I'll play season 5.
That sounds like a video game season.
Yeah. It's more League. I mean, what can I say? They've put out new champions. I haven't played them yet. I haven't been rushing to pick up every champion in the game now. I've been dealing with a lot of internet problems lately, specifically with League. Apparently I'm getting tons of lag. But before my modem decided that it hated me, I was doing fairly well. My internet was fine. So the game was working really well. I like what they're doing with Season 5. I like a lot of the new changes that League is putting out. And I was going to say something else before I was totally blanking. I don't know. Anyways, more League.
More League. Is it are you approaching it with this whole new mentality of I'm going to actually be nice and try and be a positive influence on League of Legends community, or is it just back to the same old Greg?
It's more or less. I I mostly duo with my friend. So or Anthony at this point. Most people know who he is. I've said him before.
Anthony is like this weird fictional character that you made up just for this
Yeah.
podcast to make people believe that you had a friend that plays League of Legends. Everyone else quit.
Like, we'll yell at each other because we do stupid things, but, like, for the most part, I just ignore the chat unless they're, like, directly attacking me, and I'm just like, please stop. You're clearly not ready to play with the big leagues at all.
Or you're not, Greg.
Yeah, or it's me, yeah, clearly. No.
I am positing a theory.
I know what you were doing. I was just following up with that.
It's just like, I'm going to backhand compliment you this entire podcast.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. No, like, I don't rage as much as I used to anymore. It's pointless.
I'm not as young as I was. I can't get as angry anymore.
It's kind of true in a way. But yeah, I mean, it's going well. Other than that, what else have I been playing? The Crew. I played a little bit more of it. I've gotten a few more nice cars. I still think that game is just only okay.
There's nothing wrong with a just okay game, though.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's fun if you like want to go and do a little racing here and there, or just drive around and be dumb without anybody shooting at you. GTA. It's literally everything that GTA
Isn't
is, but without the guns and the ability to like mow down people.
subpar driving in a shitty open world. I'm sorry. No, in a too big open world.
No, literally, The Crew is too big of an open world.
Yeah, no, I know that.
I think like it would have been fine if that too big of an open world had more substance in it, but it really does not have much substance in it.
Yeah, I mean, like that's one of the things that kind of like led me away from it. Is like, this is a big, vast world for you to drive in. And I'm like, I don't really like driving in real life. So
the only thing that I think is really good about it is the fact that you get to like. I now have a Cobra Shelby Mustang, and that thing is awesome. Like you get really cool classic cars. Like if you go to Vegas, you can unlock the Lamborghini. I mean, you can get these nice racing cars, and it's basically they took an MMO and they're like, "Hey, I wonder if we could turn this into a car game," and then they did. And then
So have you played bumper cars with somebody yet?
No, but I have been hit by people that I'm like trying to do something, and then they're just like coming through, and then they'll just run into me and knock me off the side of the road and keep driving. I'm like, thanks, jackass.
that's how I do like in real life. So,
But like I'm not.
Head to New York. Hopefully, there's a lot of people there. Play bumper
Oh dear
cars.
God,
That's
there's
all
so
you
much
do.
traffic. Ah, this game is filled with cars, NPC cars everywhere. They
Wait.
get in your way so much.
wait, it's a car game with a lot of cars in it.
I know, right?
This sounds counterproductive. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I mean, yeah, man, The Crew seems like exactly what they wanted it to be.
It's
Which-
totally what they want it to be. It's just like everybody that is a gearhead racing junkie plays this game. Like there's still a healthy community. It's just that you know who you are and you know why you play this game.
Yeah, I mean, like I think the people that really want like good driving are going to gravitate to the Gran Turismos and the Forzas and
Yep.
like they're going to go to the games that like their point.
The racing simulators.
Yeah, the point is like simulate realistic driving physics and everything and damage and everything, not like simulate big open worlds to drive around. Like it's kind of like the quantity versus quality.
Exactly.
Done precision, which now there's a game for both kind of people. I think that's fine.
I mean, there hasn't been like a really fun arcade racer for a while, so I mean, it's not horrible.
Yeah,
And
I
I
mean,
enjoy what I play of it. So
yeah, the Need for Speed stuff is always been pretty solid from what I understand. But it's just it's a smaller scope, it's more focused, which I think is fine.
Mhm.
You need to find a way to get your car onto a building and then on top of another person's car.
Unfortunately, there's no such thing. You can't go up vertically in this game. You can only go flat or wherever.
Can
the
you do
roads
that
take you.
shit from the Furious 7 trailer? Where you drive from one building to another?
Or jump out of the plane? Oh my God! I really want to see Fast 7, though. That movie looks really good.
Greg, it was Fast 6. This is Furious 7.
Whatever.
I love their branding. I'm just going to put it out there. I think
The fact that there is actual continuity to everything they're doing now, it baffles my mind, and I now have to watch them all in order to figure out what the fuck is going on.
I'm really... Because, like...
Jason Stamos is the next movie. Like, what the hell?
Jason Stamos? Is that Jason Statham and John Stamos' child? Because if he looks like Uncle Jesse from Full House and acts like Jason Statham from Crank, I'm fucking so in this.
I'm sorry, I messed up somebody's name.
It's
Anyways.
fine. No, so fun fact, Damian Brown, my good friend, has watched all of the Fast and Furious movies to no one's surprise. And it is the most interesting thing to like sit down with him and be like, hey, what's Fast and Furious all about? And then have him like give me this detailed lore explanation of like the timeline and everything. And he knows so much about it, and it's like, how do you know all of this in general? And like there is rhyme and reason to the madness, and I think it's fantastic.
Dude, it's all about going back to Tokyo, and I'm like, what?
I know Tokyo Drift is the last in the timeline, and I appreciate. I could give a shit about the Fast and Furious movies. I saw the first one, I liked it, and I'm like, okay, this is enough of this movie that I need.
Fast 2 is better. But...
Sure. I don't care, but
I think it's better.
They've now made like what, 8 movies, 7 movies. Excuse me.
Yeah, whatever. You might as well say 8. The 8th one's on its way.
Well, yeah. There will be an 8th, and hopefully that'll close the loop. They'll have like this weird timeline. But I watched 1, enjoyed it.
The 8 means it's a track. It just goes around in circles.
It's Mario Kart 8. It's like the 8 is like the 8 track. And I watched.
They just meet Mario and they teleport into a gaming world.
Dude, like the final scene of Fast and Furious 8, which takes place after Tokyo Drift, is like Luigi racing against Mario and Vin Diesel.
And then Vin Diesel just drives up next to him and be like, hey.
No. What actually happens is they go ahead and they usurp what happens in Tokyo Drift, but then they reintroduce what would lead up to the first one.
Yeah, it's
so then you watch the entire series in an infinite cycle.
Yeah, it's like the 8th movie ends with Vin Diesel saying we have to go back, and then it's the opening scene of Fast and the Furious 1. Scott, this is the greatest idea you've ever had.
The 8 for infinity.
They
Illuminati confirmed.
They go 88 miles per hour and go back to the past.
Oh my god. Can this be a thing? Can we like actually write to Hollywood and just be like, hey, can you do this?
I know. Like there might be like a 21 Jump Street Men in Black crossover, which is cool. But let's talk about
dumb.
Let's talk about the Fast and Furious Back to the Future crossover.
They just race DeLoreans.
Yep. And they break down because they're like not a well-made car or whatever. Anyway, back on topic. What else have you been playing other than The Crew, Greg? You only have one thing left.
Sims 4.
Did you go back to it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you go back to it?
Yeah. That game is really addicting. They recently put out a small expansion for camping, and I bought it. I know I'm a horrible person. I said,
how much was it?
What the fuck is wrong with me? $20.
That's way too much.
I know.
I was gonna say if it was $10, I'd been like, yeah, that's fine. What do you
Alex. The only time it's worth it is when Greg answers you. He says, "Not money."
Thanks.
Okay.
This is The Sims. At this point, The Sims deserves this.
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, like, I like The Sims.
I like The Sims too.
You can mod the game,
but their business model is garbage.
Oh yeah, totally,
completely. But like, it's a fun game. I enjoy just playing, and like, I made a log cabin. I actually made like a log cabin trailer park castle thing. It's kind of awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, and you just do stuff. That's how that game works.
Yeah, no, like I. Yeah,
EA or Maxis actually went back and made the game harder to play to level up. Like, that's ridiculous to me. They went back to make it harder.
Sometimes you gotta balance, my friend. It's the last thing that happens. I'm not
It goes full circle.
There you go. And then like a sim jumps from a building to another building. I've never
something happens that reintroduces Sims.
Yeah, there you go. Sims 8 just comes out next year. It's like, what? I've never been huge on simulation games, just in general. I like The Sims, which is kind of like the staple of the sim genre, I think. Because it's people sim. You just watch people do stupid shit and you influence them. And I think it's fun.
You're like a maniacal overlord of a bunch of poor people that you get to trap in closets or drown in pools. And then
classic Sims 2 move, drown somebody in a pool. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's funny when the Grim Reaper shows up and says, "You fucked up," and then he just takes you away. Like, that's hilarious. It's a game with a good heart and a good sense of humor.
Until you mod the shit out of it, you can make that thing whatever you want.
You can make it whatever heart you want. Is that all you've been playing, Greg?
Pretty much.
Did he move Abraham Lincoln into your log cabin? I just like.
I should do that.
You should like
called Abe.
You should make someone called Abe and have him have like the beard and the hair, but have him dress like a total hipster and be a jerk, because that would be hilarious. Like hipster modern Abe Lincoln, who like only listens to indie music on his iPhone, would be the greatest thing ever.
I should work on that.
Our 16th president, hipster Abe.
I should just make an entire family of presidents.
Yeah,
52 of them.
George Washington is the father, and Abe Lincoln is the mother.
Benjamin Franklin, hipster child.
Yeah, Ben Franklin is their moody teenage son who's always on his phone texting.
Talking about electricity and shit.
Nancy Pelosi is the aunt that's really awkward and talks too much.
Jesus.
I really like this narrative that we did. And then like it zooms in on Ben Franklin, moody teenage hipster's phone, and it just says Fast and Furious 8, and it's just like, what? Scott, what about you? What have you been playing?
Not too well. Yeah, I had not been much time, so
yeah, it's been 5 days. So.
Yeah, hit 100 in WoW finally, okay. And that sound. I played a little bit of Binding of Isaac, not Rebirth, because I went to go pull up Rebirth on the Vita, but then it said it expired, and I'm like, what?
Will's got to renew his PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, I think that's what has to happen, and that's probably not going to happen. So I can't play that. So I went to go play regular Binding of Isaac, and then I ran into the problem of you getting the garbage items all the time.
Yeah,
all the time.
Mm. Not as balanced as Rebirth, and you're like,
no.
Yeah.
So like the strategy that you have to use for that game. If you want to get any kind of reliability in your runs, is you have to unlock the D6. I had to restart my computer, so I don't have that again, and I don't have a lot of things again. And then, or you have to hit R, hold R to reset the room until you get a treasure room that has something good in it.
Good.
So that can take like 10 minutes before you actually get started.
I was like,
now I'm sad. Then I went to go check to see if I could play Binding of Isaac Rebirth on the PlayStation 4, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
I got really sad.
Yeah, they're the same attachment. I was thinking about going back to Binding of Isaac recently, just because like I was listening to some podcasts and thinking about maybe catching up and playing some Binding of Isaac.
You gotta unlock all the characters, man.
I know. I want to. I played like 25 hours of that game. In like 2 weeks,
you'll give it. You can give it some time.
Yeah, like I think I can go back to it and still kind of have a general understanding of it because of all the time I put into it.
Can't wait till you get Eden.
I have gotten Eden.
Have you gotten a run where Eden starts with Brimstone and you have the Tammy head?
I have started with the Tammy head.
All right. Okay. If you get Brimstone and you have the Tammy head uses the Brimstone as it takes your tier, so it uses the brimstone as the dots that it shoots out. So instead, it shoots out like an asterisk of brimstone, and it's usable every room.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I really like that game, and I feel sad that like I didn't stick with it as much as like you or Tony. I mean, obviously, like it was less kind of like my alley, but yeah, I haven't touched Spelunky in like a couple months, so.
Oh my god, did it stop? No, just kidding.
It'll never stop.
Do you need help?
The best thing, right? That's the better question, Greg.
Are you depressed, Alex?
That's a loaded question. I like the best thing about Spelunky though is like I can always go back to it. Like I've gotten to the point with that game that I can pick it up and be solid when I play it. So, yeah, and that's something I can still play on my Vita. I don't know, you haven't been around, Greg. But the right stick on my Vita is broken, which is super depressing. But
Alex always breaking his sticks and shit.
yeah, you know me. I've like never broken a controller or a handheld ever, and it's like I don't even know how it happened since it's always in like a case or just sitting there, not getting touched by anything. So it's a mystery to me, but I still want to attempt to fix it on my own.
Who is playing with my Vita?
Yeah.
I will find you in a
It was like during Extra Life, someone took it and was just like fucking jammed on the stick. That okay. That was Scott. I took me a second to catch up. Anything else, Scott?
Nope.
All right. Same for me. Like it hasn't been that long since we recorded last.
Mm-hmm. And tomorrow is the day where I get to play games.
Yeah. Like Friday. Well, luckily I play most of my games on the weekend now. And Friday is when I play leading up
Scrubs.
to the podcast. Yeah,
Change of time. Hey, Alex, since you're free on Friday, you want to play Dominion then?
Possibly. Ethan and I tentatively had plans, but they might fall through. So I'll hit you up.
Okay.
I'm sorry that you were not feeling as well as you could have been this past weekend. But Tony had all Saturday to himself, and he didn't upload his podcast file. So better questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, the weekends are kind of like the only time I get to myself to play games and stuff. But I did set aside some time yesterday, Tuesday, to play Evolve. Well, I'll talk about that in a second since that's like the newest stuff.
Like literally the newest.
Yeah.
It literally came out 24 hours ago.
Yep. I beat Dying Light. I think my total time that was 37 hours. Which is
oh wow, that game's a lot longer than
that is a very long game. I did all the side quests, but not nearly.
Did you find Excalibur?
I didn't go looking.
There's literally a sword in a rock that you can pull out and you get a trophy called Excalibur, and it's amazing.
I don't need Excalibur because I've got like this thing that shoots fire and lightning when I hit people.
Or you could get a sword from the medieval century and kill things with it.
I have medieval longswords and sacrificial swords.
Then what? Why are you not using these things?
I do use them.
But he also has something that shoots lightning. But
yeah.
What
more
do you want?
It's a
Why are you
sword.
not playing Zombie Skyrims correctly?
It's a sword that shoots lightning. Like, what do you want from me, Greg? Like, I'm using a goddamn sword. Yeah, no, I got. So I finally it was like I had like 5-ish hours left of the story left. So I just powered through the story. There was only a few side quests left after that. So yeah, like that game is very long, very large. The second area, I spent a lot more time exploring, and I had a lot of fun with that. Played more with Jarrett, did a little more co-op with that. That was a lot of fun. Just drop kicking dudes left and right. It was tons.
How many
of
people
fun.
have you dropped kicked off a bridge?
I cannot count on fingers. That is how many people.
Like fuck you.
It's great because like when you level up the drop kick to the second level, like when you hit people, they go flying. It is absurd. And like you can like bunny hop with another player and just like kick, and just shoot people just farther and farther. So Jarrett and I had a lot of fun doing that. There were 3 levels. I kind of mentioned before. I don't know how familiar you are with the skill tree stuff, Greg.
I'm not. I find the game amusing to watch. I have no interest in playing it.
Yeah, I mean it's like, first person game that's like I don't think you would particularly like it because of the kind of perspective it gives you, but there are 3 skill trees, one for like power, one for agility, or like parkour stuff. But not just parkour stuff. Agility is a better way to put it, and then like your general level that's just like you get up from doing quests. And I maxed out the general skill tree and the power skill tree, and I'm 2 levels away from maxing the agility skill tree, which I'll probably go back and finish up at some point. Because there's still like a ton of things left in that world for me to do. There are like protection quests, and which are kind of like shorter side quests that have you do these weird stories with these survivors in the world. Like one guy thought he was a werewolf, and he's like, "We got to make a cure for my werewolfism." And like, so you're going around killing dudes with the guy, and he's like growling and making wolf noises, but he's like clearly a dude making that.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
Yeah, and like when you talk to him, you're like trying not to like let him know that you think he's crazy. You're like, okay, where should we go next? Wolf. And
oh my god!
Like there's tons of stuff like that I've only played a couple of that are really silly and fun. And there's also like challenges, and there's like really good unique dialogue leading up to the challenges. Jarrett actually uses an anecdote from one of them at the start of his review, which is like this very self-referential thing where you talk to a movie producer who's trapped in the city, and he's like, "I need you to kill zombies for no reason because this is the movie I'm shooting in," and it's very playful. And I like that a lot.
Yeah, the game does sound like hilariously playful, just like being not really serious about a zombie apocalypse at the same time being serious about a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, I mean, like the story is totally stereotypical and forgettable. It has a couple really good moments, but just
does it close out well?
No, no, it doesn't.
They all die.
No, it's not even like that. Like I guess like this kind of qualifies as a spoiler. It's a mechanical spoiler. I'm not going to tell you like how the story ends, but
is it an entire QuickTime event setup?
Oh yeah, it's a QuickTime event final boss, which like there are a couple like really good bosses in the game that are not QuickTime event bosses. They're like, they give you an item, like you only have one weapon that they give you, and they throw things at you in a clever way, I think. And I liked those. I thought they were fine. Like they weren't great, they weren't bad, they were just fine. But like the final boss is like a QuickTime boss, which is becoming like a more and more frequent trend. Like Sly Cooper 4 had a QuickTime event final boss, which was really dumb. And Shadows of Mordor had one. Shadow of Mordor, excuse me. It's like it's so unnecessary and unsatisfying. It doesn't make any sense why they do it.
Lazy.
Like I don't think it's lazy. I think it's just like they know they can't make a satisfying encounter for the buildup of whatever the story is, which is like true. Like the combat in Shadow of Mordor is super awesome, and I doubt like you could make like one really strong dude at the end that would make it satisfying. But
sure, they could. They could always go Kingdom Hearts style. Throw in the harder boss that isn't the final boss.
Yeah, right. Like a secret boss. Like one of the bosses in Shadow of Mordor is really good. There's like 3 bosses pretty much, and one of them is like an actual combat boss. And I thought it was really good. It's very challenging. You have to kind of like think outside the box. And then they have a stealth boss, and then the final boss, which is QuickTime events. So they kind of play on the 2 major mechanics of that game, and then they have a QuickTime event final boss because like they know they can't build off of it anymore. And that's what it feels like in Dying Light. Like the ending section is like this really big long parkour section that's really cool and has you using like camouflage and stealth and jumping around tactically really well. And then the final boss is like a couple minute QuickTime scene. And it's like, I don't really care. It doesn't ruin the experience of the game for me by any means because it's so much fun to play. And the area before it was really well done, I thought. And there's some good like self-referential dialogue in that area leading up as well. But it just like it's not a satisfying way to end that have like the final scene of your game be this.
Yeah, that's true.
So like I implore people to like, avoid final boss quick time event scenes, because it's just like, even if it's just not a great final boss that you have to fight in game, it's better to have like the control over your character. I think I know some people probably disagree with that, but I think the only final boss that has like a good quick time thing at the end is God of War 3's final boss, because it uses the quick time event in a different way than the rest of the game, and it's like visually really inspired and clever, and there is like some amount of player agency. Like you have some control over the scene to an extent. So like take a note out of that, which is like that's an older game. That's like 2009, I think. So that's it's worth noting. Regardless, the Dying Light story is totally not why I played that game at all. It has, again, a couple good moments, but that game is just super fun and super silly when it wants to be. So I recommend it. I think it's fantastic, especially if you didn't play Dead Island, which I didn't, because I was like, I'll wait for whatever the more polished version of this is, and I did, and it is like Dead Island if it were like super solid and polished and looked great, and it's awesome.
It only took us 3 games to do it, but we finally did it.
I think it took the right publisher, honestly, because Warner Brothers is published Dead Island, and outside of Batman Arkham Origins, that's the one. This is like 4, so that Batman Arkham Origins is the most unpolished game that Warner Brothers has published, which it's not like terrible, but it has a lot of issues. But yeah, that publisher is on point as far as putting out really polished experiences. Another reason to be excited for The Witcher 3, I think. So, yeah, I think that definitely had a lot to do with it. So,
okay.
Nabashin, you want to start recording? You want to get ready into this?
Count it down.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Bow.
We're almost done with the game segment. I've got like one more thing to talk about, or a couple more things to talk about. All right.
Sure.
Brian Nabashin Jackson is here.
Fuck you, Scott. I'm here.
I didn't even say that.
You were thinking it.
Nuh-uh.
No, he wasn't. He
I
was
already knew
nice.
that you were going to be here later.
Tony won't be here, it looks like, but the real fuck you goes to Evan. Let's all be real here.
As always.
As always.
As always.
At this point.
Like, seriously, we miss you. A couple other things I've been playing to just get back in the spin of it. I got the chance to, like, the weekend is now, like, my time to play Persona Q. I just put a lot of time into it while doing other things. Yeah, man, that I'm 12 more hours into it. I'm almost done the third dungeon, which is like the setup is like a cult club or whatever, and it's actually really spooky and creepy. Like genuinely, they convey it really well through the style and everything, and the music. It's cool. It's this third dungeon in Persona Q is actually like full of really interesting logic-based puzzles, where you have to move around the environment in a certain order, or do things in a certain order, or solve like these little word puzzles. And it's actually like they do it really well. And like if you fuck up, you can like be like, Naoto, hey, what's up? Can you help me? Because she's obviously ace detective. Yeah, it's cool how they kind of worked a get out of jail system into the characters at play, to help you with the puzzles if you do get stuck. But it's been nothing too insane. I've really enjoyed it, and I think I'm on the 4th floor of that. I think that's the last floor. And it's been super enjoyable so far. The only other thing I've been playing is Evolve, which I picked up yesterday.
I want to get my hands on that.
So
I do, but I just want to play it.
You guys, or not you guys, Greg, you've purchased it. You haven't played
it's downloaded. I let it download while I was at work today, so once I get off, I'm going to play it.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll be able to play some with you tonight as well. So I've been playing it's funny because I had it preloaded and everything. So I was ready Tuesday at midnight, and then like news bro's like, "Oh, Spider-Man's coming back to Marvel," and I'm like, "Oh, great!" And then like I'm playing with Evolve, I'm playing Evolve with people, and that's like all we're talking about. It was nice to have a dialogue. But I was going to play with Jarrett and Jacob on launch night, but both of them had the same issue where it hadn't finished pre-installing yet. So I ended up playing. I was like, "Hey,
Next gen shit."
Yeah, there you go. Next gen shit. I don't like mine was fully pre-installed. Fine. Like I don't know what the issue was, but
I had the same issue with GTA.
yeah, it's odd. Like I've heard back and forth about it, but I ended up playing with @Nintendad on Twitter, who was one of my friends listening. He's like, "Hey, I'll play with you." And
You say at Nintendo?
@Nintendad.
Oh, okay.
I played with Nintendo itself. Me and Satoru Iwata got down with some Evolve, if you know what I'm saying. I'll tell you what, he's a great
Miyamoto
assault.
wasn't there either. I mean,
He's a great assault, not a very good medic. But no, I played with @Nintendad, which I believe he's watching this. I don't actually know what his real name is, so we'll keep the ambiguity though. And we had a good time. We played a few hours of it on launch night, and
or we could just give him a name.
we could Frank,
Jamal.
Paul. We had a good time.
Robert?
And Robert. Oh, speaking of which,
My name's Jeff.
my name's Jeff. It was fun, and now I have played like with a full team of 4 people, because Jacob, Jarrett, and I played yesterday. During the day, and Jacob's cousin Ben played with us as well, and we were just wrecking shop and absolutely getting our asses handed to us as well. It's really fun, especially with other people. I think like that was we all knew that out of the gate. I wrote a little bit about it, just like a couple first impressions. The balancing is interesting. I think like they've hit a good balance with that game, but like you have to kind of like know the concepts going into it. Is like the balance is based on the monster, not on the players. I think like if you're a good team, you're a good team, like regardless. But the monster is like it's weaker than the players, than the hunters at stage 1. It's as strong, about evenly with the hunters at stage 2, and it's stronger at stage 3. So you kind of have to, the way you play has to kind of work with that.
Unless you're the Kraken, then you just rip everything because.
So the Kraken's really cool. I'll say I've only played against a couple of Krakens and one Wraith. The Wraith is kind of like the most unknown with me. They're all. It is crazy how different fighting each monster is though, because it's like a whole different game. If you're fighting like the Kraken or the Wraith, because the Kraken is like the ranged monster. The Wraith is
the Kraken can fly. The
Wraith is a stealth monster, and the Goliath is kind of like your all-around or just melee-focused monster with some ranged abilities. And like they're all.
How's Davy Jones?
Davy Jones is really good. The squid beard doesn't convey as well through video game. I'll tell you. Tell you what. They all. Like, you know, the same concept applies of stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and they all have like different amounts of.
You swallow Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, it's awkward. And
Pirates
then like
4 is coming soon. Just saying.
Pirates 5, Greg.
5, whatever. Who cares? More pirates.
And if by soon you mean like 2017, then yes. It's like playing against each monster is playing a whole different game. And there's like 3 different characters for each class as well, and they all play completely differently. They all have the same like ability, but they're all very different. So you can create tons of different teams of characters and of like hunters and stuff, and they play to different strengths and weaknesses depending on the monster. It's really good. Like I was a little down on the balance at first because like the game changes when the monster gets to stage 3. Like you have to like when it's in stage 1, you're like, okay, offense, we got to hunt it. You're looking through the woods, you're following tracks, you're doing everything you can to find it. and kill it as fast as possible, because if it gets to stage 2, it's significantly harder to kill it, but you still have a chance. When it gets to stage 3, killing it is now not the priority. Surviving is the priority, because it can kill you at stage 3 very, very fast, and very it'll go by like that. And that's why I think the objective for the hunters changes. Well, for both parties changes at stage 3. Monster has to destroy the power relay, and the hunters have to defend it at that point. And I think, like, in my experience, it's better to just like try and wait out the time when it gets to stage 3, because killing it is exceptionally difficult.
It looks like it is. I haven't played it yet. I saw it at E3 or not E3. Wow, PAX East. Excuse me.
Yeah.
When you guys were playing it, I was watching it. I was like, man, this game's really entertaining to watch.
It is like a super fun game to watch, I think. We have killed a stage 3 monster once. It was a very tight game. And we've had like a lot of times where we've lost to a stage 3 Wraith or a stage 3 Kraken. But it was very close. Like, it could have gone either way at the end. Like, maybe someone messed up, someone got caught by like the environment or something. And they weren't paying enough attention to that. It's odd because, like, it feels like everything is stacked against the hunters because the environment can kill you so easily, or disable you so easily is kind of more accurate.
That's part of the balancing of the game.
Yeah, but like, it's the balancing. You, as the hunter, you have to be aware of what's going on around you. And you have to be aware of the monster, like the mini monsters, the creeps or whatever in the environment, and like the plants and like the aquatic life in the environment that can hurt you. Because if you're just like running around looking for the monster and there was nothing to stop you or slow you down, it would be too easy. You'd be able to find it too fast. But
yeah, one of the YouTubers I watched, it was really funny. He was running around. I think he was just about to become level 3. He found a place to hide. He literally just walked into a bush, and like all the hunters walked by him. It was really funny.
It is incredible how sneaky you can be in that game, because
he's like a 3-story just beast, and he just hid in a bush, and they're like, "Where the fuck did he go?"
It is very easy to lose the monster if it's smart. I played against this one guy that we didn't even see him until he was stage 3. Like,
oh my God.
It was like at the end there's this incredible mechanic that they added where they show the map and like the movement of the monster and the movement of the players, and he was always like, he would wait for us to go past him. He would leave false tracks, leap back into a bush so he didn't leave any tracks, and then hide. So we would miss him. So we would follow the tracks, and then it would lead to like water or something that loses the tracks, and then we would just keep going off, thinking he went forward, and he'd be behind us, avoiding birds, avoiding setting off any alarms, and he would just build and build. And it's like, oh, he's so smart. Like, it is a mind game. Playing as a monster, and it's like you can be super conniving and clever, or you can be super aggressive, and both strategies can work if you know what you're doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I've had a stage 1 monster just fucking destroy a team, like a team that is like coordinating and working together, but he is playing in a way. Like, we cage him, and then he, like, sneaks around a rock, and we're like, where the fuck did he go? In the cage, and then he just sneaks around, kills the medic instantly. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Well.
Yeah, it is like a MOBA. Like, it is a first-person MOBA, I think. It compares very well to that genre, because, like, you can do the same map, the same people, and the same, but, like, with different players, over and over and over again, and it's unique and different and cool every time.
And there's objectives to get, and there's
there's sub-objectives, there's buffs that the monsters and the players can get in the environment by killing certain animals, and it is like a lengthier experience. Like, rounds are usually 10 to 20 minutes. They can go much longer, though. It's awesome. Like, at first the balance was frustrating for me, because it's like, Monster Stage 3, we're going to lose. But, like, you got to learn to kind of deal with it. And kind of...
Cage him in, keep everybody healed, keep everybody shield, make sure that
doing that is a lot easier said than done, but there are strategies like, play to the time, hunt the monster while he's, like, building up armor to attack the power relay, and then cage him in, then, like leave, or just leave the trapper there to distract him, so he can't get to the power relay and then work the time. from there, so he can't move for like a couple minutes, stuff like that, and use like walls and sneaky tactics to your advantage. And again, playing against each monster is playing a different game, so know what you're getting into. It's exceptionally well balanced. Even though when you're playing as the hunter, it'll probably feel against you a lot of the times because the environment kills you, because the monster gets so powerful and kills you. You just have to know, you have to find your own groove to play in.
You just have to kite the monster, really, once you get to level 3.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Like, you can go full assault on the monster and balance yourself out right, distribute your characters across in 4 different directions enough to confuse him and kind of like kill him. And you can easily, and that can easily backfire as well. So like, I'm going to play a lot more of it, I think, and playing with people obviously is the way to go. If you don't have anyone to play with, don't buy this game. It doesn't make any sense. It's like one thing, like you could still buy this game and have fun because you can just play as the monster by yourself and you don't have to dart anybody. It's fine, and I like that. I like that there's that aspect to it. But if you're only playing as one of the two, you're missing out on something that's really cool and really interesting, and a balance and an approach to game design that is really clever and different than anything I've seen before. So I would recommend see if you can get 5 people together and then play with them and like just have a nice group chat going where one person's the monster and it cycles through that person throughout the course of the matches and have a good time. Like I've only done that once and it was tons of fun. So it's great to play with people and they're all playing as a team and you're the monster and just be like, I can see you.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah. So Evolve's cool. I can't wait to play more of it. Again, I've only played like 5 hours of it. Probably less than that, actually. Probably like 2 or 3 hours. But I like it a lot. What about you, Nabashin? Video games?
Nothing.
Nothing, haven't had time?
Nope.
Yeah.
In fact, after this, I'm going to have to leave.
Yep. All right, well, it's good to have you here. Well, then we're going to take a quick break and come back with news. And then that's going to be the show. So we will be back in just a second, guys.
Choo, choo, choo.
I forgot to mention that I've also played Oculus Strip, but
It's too late.
I know.
Gotta go, guys. Bye. I'll give you your podcast file tonight. Good night. Bye.
Okay, good night. Did I miss any news before you go? He's gone. Did I miss
what
any
just
news?
happened?
He came
Wait,
in.
Nabashin's not going to be on the show? He just wanted to...
Well, he was on the show just for a bit. He wanted to. He needed to qualify against Scott.
Oh. I was really confused. I was like, wait, what? What's going on?
Let me just check one thing real quick. We're only gonna go for 30 more minutes. So that'll probably be like the show. So.
Okay, all right.
Are you caught up on Flash? Scott?
No,
Flash?
I'm
What?
not, sadly.
Okay. Just asking.
I think that's gonna.
Oh yeah. Are you cut out, Scott?
I think that's gonna be more of a series that I'm gonna stock up on.
Understandable. I hate waiting between episodes. So, it ended on a cliffhanger this last night for the first time.
Oh yeah, definitely not catching up right now.
Yeah, so that's why I asked. Let me just check. Greg, did you see any other news? I don't know how up to
No,
date
the
you are.
biggest thing that's happening now is Fallout. I mean, Bethesda's hosting their own press conference. I mean, yes, Fallout.
Possibly.
You shut your mouth.
Greg, we've been burned before, okay? So don't go in with an expectation. Just go in like, oh, I wonder what happens.
Fallout 4 better happen.
Like it will happen at some point. I'm not gonna rush it. I'm sure it'll be good when it comes out. So I hope it's next gen only. I'll say.
I hope so too. I've been waiting patiently.
Not that I don't think Bethesda is capable of making another PS3 game. To be fair.
No, they're not. Not after. Not after New Vegas.
Not after Skyrim.
That's true. Skyrim.
Scrimses.
They broke the PS3 with scrims. Kind of.
Just give me a second. I'm going through a couple.
GTA really broke the PS3, in all honesty, but
Yeah, it broke the 360 too. 8-year-old system right there.
it was kind of like, hey, GTA, it looks really, really fucking good on old gen systems.
It really does.
And now it's on next gen systems. It looks even better.
Yeah, that is a feat for sure.
It's like, oh. Like
boy.
everybody had that moment when they came to next gen.
Yeah, and I mean, I knew exactly what it would look like when they up-resed it. Inevitably, I got a pizza out of it. So,
I can't wait for Heist to come out. Did you see that trailer for Heist? Oh my god,
Greg, of course I didn't.
it was so fucking funny. Lester comes in on screen. He's like, "You weren't ready for this," and I laughed my ass off. I was like, "Oh, you cheeky assholes."
I thought the Nintendo might have had exclusive video game rights to the Harry Potter franchise. I thought that was an interesting thing, but we don't have to talk about that. It's not much to talk about.
Interesting is the right word for it.
Yeah,
The fuck are they even going to do with that?
they could have.
I didn't have it.
They don't have it.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
When the movie license deal went through with Harry Potter, like it was going to be before the movies. Like Nintendo was going to have exclusive video game rights. I'd love to see like a Nintendo-ified Harry Potter world, though. I think they could add a special.
Yeah, but like I don't think
touch.
it would be like Nintendo that would be doing that.
No, it was like direct first-party Nintendo development. That's what was so interesting about it.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah, like imagine the Mario team making a from the ground up Harry Potter game. That would be a magical experience. I'll tell you what.
Yep. Because guess what? They do pretty good at RPGs, and everybody thinks they can only do platformers. So
yeah, man. Those people have never played Super Mario RPG or Paper Mario or Mario Luigi.
Mario RPG, it is healing. Anyway.
Surprised you know that song.
it is the only game for me. I had to bring my Evan. I'm sorry.
It's on my iPod, Alex.
It's on my iPhone.
Oh, okay, hipster.
As I like text my girlfriend with my Honest Abe hipster beard. No, hipster Abraham Lincoln would have like a top hat shaped hair, like a Jufro, with just a mustache.
Your mother freed the slaves.
I don't care. I don't think there's any other news.
That was horrible, but
it was
still funny.
There's probably I bet there's gonna be like the biggest fucking news ever tomorrow. Like it'll just
PlayStation
break.
Network is down for maintenance this week. That's
Yeah,
news.
but
It's news. What it news?
it's news. Jupiter Ascending review. Sean Bean probably dies because Sean Bean always dies. Sadness.
Don't act like he doesn't deserve it.
Sean Bean is great. I mean, I'm not saying that Boromir should have lived. He went out like a champion, but you know, it was sad. I had to watch Arrow as well. I think that's it for news. I'm looking at an absurdly long list at this point.
I mean, hey, maybe he's just good at dying.
Yeah, maybe he is pretty good at dying. Let's be realistic here. This news post also has a couple other links. Okay. Just pulling up that sweet news jam. I know you missed it, Greg.
Always.
Start it over. News in gaming. Let's talk about some news, guys. Not a lot of news since it hasn't been very long since we recorded last, but some news is worth talking about. Nobshin's gone. Also, he was here and he was gone, just to fuck with Scott. But all right. So the first news, I guess, since we can talk about it, is the Bethesda is hosting their own press conference this E3, which is great because everyone. All right, heavy breathing aside, I just pictured the cat with the heavy breathing.
That's what I was hoping you would picture.
That's seriously one of my favorite all-time favorite memes ever. It's an adorable kitten, and so obviously this has led to some conjecture as to what would garner Bethesda to host their own press conference.
An entire thing about Fallout 4.
It's definitely The Evil Within 2. Let's be realistic.
Fuck you,
here.
Alex.
It was so mediocrely successful with average sales numbers that we have to make a second one. No, I mean, yeah, I think it's safe to say that they're going to announce Fallout 4. It's a safe assumption.
Complete hour dedicated to just showing off Fallout 4.
I honestly don't think this will be an hour-long press conference.
What I think it's actually going to be is they're going to have that full hour, press conference there, actual press conference about the, what is it called? Fallout 1, 2, and 3 remastered coming to the PS4.
To be fair, I would play the shit out of Fallout 3 remastered.
I would too. I'm not even gonna lie.
If they rebuilt Fallout 3 in the Skyrim engine or something like that, I would be so down. But no, I mean, yeah, it's probably either a Fallout related announcement or Elder Scrolls related announcement,
or both, and they'll just blow up the entire internet.
The problem is, I don't think Bethesda has the manpower to make two of those games at one time, and I don't think they would do an Elder Scrolls 6 this quickly. They will, obviously.
If that did happen though, the internet would literally just explode.
That'd be crazy, yeah. The internet would collectively explode and mourn at the loss of time that they have in their future.
But no, Fallout 4 needs to happen.
We all know
this.
We all know Fallout 4 is in development. They announced after Skyrim came out that the next Fallout game was moving into pre-production, I believe. And I think it's safe to say 4 years later that it's out of pre-production.
Very much so.
But I don't know. I don't know if it'll be called Fallout 4 or if it'll just be Fallout subtitle. I don't know if it'll be running on a new engine. God, I hope so, because the Skyrim engine was just an updated Oblivion/Fallout 3 engine, which was just an updated version of their previous engine. So hopefully, they do a bigger update. But yeah, I don't know. Did they say how long the conference is going to be?
I don't think so. I haven't actually looked into it. I've seen Twitter and stuff, and I've seen people talking about it. I'm just this is happening, and you have my interest. And Fallout 4 hype is everywhere right now.
Yeah, I mean, understandably, I can't see them taking up a whole hour with one announcement, but I don't know.
It probably will be a 30-minute thing, or they'll do it in conjunction with something, maybe Sony or something like that.
Yeah, they're
hosting their own press conference.
They showed off Fallout 3 for the first time at a Microsoft press conference way back when, I think 2007 or 2008. And yeah, I don't know. It's cool that they're doing their own thing. I like that they are taking their own stage. They're not lending time to one of the big three, or
they're
Sony
just making it a
Microsoft.
really big thing because something's coming.
Yeah, I would expect realistically that they would spend most of the time talking about whatever this Bethesda Softworks announcement is inevitably, and also some of the other stuff that Bethesda is publishing, because I don't know what their next game after Wolfenstein is.
That's a good question.
Or after Evil Within, I should say, because Wolfenstein came out before then. Because they do a lot of publishing stuff, and I don't know what's next on their publishing menu.
Roster.
Yeah, that's a better word. Obviously, it's probably their Bethesda Softworks game, But yeah, I'm super excited to see what
They're
it is.
just gonna tease us though with all these like other games. I was gonna say lesser games because Fallout 4, but like other games, and then they'll just be like, "Hey, guess what? This is what you've been waiting for this entire time." And then everybody's just gonna blow their load at one time.
That is
like, thank you.
That is exactly what Atlas has done anytime it's talked about Persona 5. It's just like, we're going to announce all these Persona 4 spin-offs and show like a musical thing, and then like literally in the last 3 seconds, oh, here's a Persona 5 trailer, and everyone's like, "Wah! I didn't think they were going to do it." I would love if Bethesda did something like that.
Just tease everybody to the very end.
Yeah, save it for last, obviously. No, I think it's cool that they're getting their own stage. It's going to be weird having another press conference this year. Nintendo hasn't announced if they're doing a direct or a press conference yet. They'll probably do a direct, but I don't know. Well, whatever it is, we will be covering it live more than likely. And
I'll be in the
it.
corner probably freaking out somewhere.
Yeah, you'll have your Kingdom Hearts 3 moment finally.
I still enjoy that moment only because I'm the one that predicted that it was going to happen, and then
because you know nothing about Kingdom Hearts, so like you're just like there as like the cynical person, just like it'll be like, you have no attachment to the announcement at all. We talked about it like not too long ago. Like what perfects that video, that's like that clip that I put up on YouTube, is that like Nobbish and I are losing it, and Greg's just in the corner like just like totally calm. Like it is perfect stark contrast of like people who are excited about Kingdom Hearts and people who are totally neutral on Kingdom Hearts. But I don't know. Like, do you think if they announce Fallout, does that come out this year?
No, I mean, it will come out in 2016, 2017. But
I think for
2020.
sure. I think for sure that game comes out this year if it's announced this year.
2020.
It could very well, but it all depends. Like if they show it off, they're gonna do their classic,
5 more years.
5 more years. Comes out with Half-Life 3.
No, secretly Bethesda's been working on Half-Life 3 all along.
That'd be crazy.
Mind blown. No, but like they'll do something like they do for Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, where they're gonna have some sort of old timey song, and
I love those trailers too.
I do too. I love them so much. But there'll be something going on, and they'll take god awful forever to pan back out, and then they'll shove Fallout 4 in our faces, and then everybody will just lose their shit.
Yeah, I mean, like they announced Skyrim at the VGAs in 2010, and they announced a release date with Skyrim, which was 11/11/11, and then they hit that date, which was like absurd at the time. Like it was 11 months after they announced it, and it hit the date, which it's too easy to go for that 11/11/11 date. But it worked out for them before. I think they'll announce it for this fall, and they'll release it this fall. If they do announce it,
they'll announce it this summer, you mean, and then they'll release it this fall.
They'll announce it this year, and they'll announce it or it'll release this fall. Yeah, I don't know. It could be that they'll tease it, and then they'll say coming out, whenever, or they'll just announce it, and they'll blow everybody's mind. It could be that they'll tease it. They'll show a full trailer at the VGAs or VGX or Game Awards or whatever, and then that'll have a date on it, and then they'll hit that date. Also, it could come out next year, but I could see it totally coming out this year.
Mm-hmm.
Are you at all interested in another Fallout, Scott? I don't know.
No, not really.
Yeah. Are you still like burnt out on Bethesda games after Oblivion, or?
Too much.
Yeah.
I might get the next Elder Scrolls since I completely skipped out on this one.
Oh, I almost forgot. Go ahead, Scott. Sorry.
Might get another one. Mm-hmm. Not so sure.
Yeah, I think like it's kind of like I skipped Call of Duty for a couple of years. Like the next one could be awesome for me, except that's a much shorter pace. But like skipping Skyrim, I think definitely makes the next whatever Bethesda game way more fun because it's just going to be a refined version of that formula. And it'll play a lot better, look a lot better. So that's a good way to go about it. In other news,
Oh, well, before you
Oh, go
I was
ahead.
also going to say there's going to be like a 100% chance that they'll announce that the Elder Scrolls Online will come to PS4 this year. So,
That already has a release date this year.
well, then they'll show a trailer off for it or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't
mean,
realize that.
I think that actually comes out before E3. I don't know.
You're probably right. I haven't been in the loop for a while, so.
Yeah. It launches as a pay-to-play. So, like, you buy it once, and then it's free-to-play after that.
Oh.
So it's a Guild Wars model when it launches on Xbox One and
That's actually not a
PS1.
good, or not a good idea. Bad idea, excuse me.
No, I think that works really well for an Elder Scrolls.
Because it was going to be subscription. Jesus.
Yeah, it is. It is currently subscription based until that newer version of it comes out, and that will launch on consoles as the day it launches on PC. So
Tripping over my motherfucking words.
and if you have it on PC, it's just an update. So
And then all the PC fanboys scream and get pissed off because.
no, I think they
Credit
get like a ton of stuff if they've been paying. So they always give like when that happened with was it Old Republic? Like they give a lot of good stuff to the people that have been paying to play. Anyway, in other news is like literally played exactly to my niche. A bunch of old people from Rare, not old people, but a bunch of people who used to work at OG Rare, as in the guys that made Sonic's Bedford, Conker's Bedford. Yeah, Sonic's Bedford is a spin-off title, I want to say. Conker's Bedford, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Donkey Kong 64. They have formed a new developer called Playtonic Games, and they have announced their first project is a spiritual successor to the original Banjo-Kazooie series. Which it's like they were listening to this podcast. Like they were like, "Oh, he wanted one of those. Well, shit, we could probably do that."
They'll make it. You'll be the one to pre-order it and the only one to buy it.
I don't give a shit, man. As long as they make the game,
It will also cost $500 only for Alex.
whatever, dude. It's they put out one little teaser image of like two what looks like animals' eyes peeking out through a bush. So a pair of characters, very reminiscent of Banjo and Kazooie. It looks like some form of bird and some form of dog, like a wolf or something like that. And I could not be more excited.
Down with a Banjo-Kazooie game.
Yeah, like imagine like a classic N64 style 3D platformer where you're like collecting stuff and getting tons of new abilities, done really, really pretty on modern consoles. I think that would be fantastic.
What do you think the animals' names would be?
Tanjo and Bazooie? No, it's probably something. Like I said, I think it's like a bird and a wolf of some kind. It'll probably be like a totally new dynamic duo, but the idea is still the same. And, you know, with this, along with Microsoft kind of teasing a revival of older Rare franchises at their E3 press conference, I think this is a good year for me. Obviously, this game is kind of like just started development, so I probably won't see it in my lifetime because I have to die before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. You
and the rest of the people waiting for it.
This is a terrible joke, but I think it's very funny. But you know, Playtonic is an indie developer. I think it's made of 6 people who used to work at Rare, and it sounds awesome. So, yeah, like I said, it's like someone was like, "Hey, he wants one of them." Shit. And they're making one, so
that just makes it so much funnier.
Yeah, like, and it's cool that they could bring ideas like from Conker's Bad Fur Day into it, make it like more adult centric as well. You know, I'd be totally down for that. Something with like a good sense of humor and stuff. Like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie were good at that as well. Regardless, I am super pumped. They have one teaser image about it right now, but I'd be curious if like maybe Microsoft scooped them up and did a publishing deal with them to help them make this, because that'd be really cool.
Or Nintendo could just swoop them up and, you know, actually make games again.
Well, shut up. But I think that'd be really also cool if Nintendo published a spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie on their platform as well. I think that would
That's
equally
where
as
it
awesome.
originally started, so
Yeah.
why not?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Either or. That's it. Unless anybody has any other news. Scott,
Nope.
I know news guru Scott Guthier.
Nope.
There you go. That's it. That's the whole show.
I'm to throw it out. No break this time.
No break this time. 2 stops this time. Anyway, no one emailed us. We haven't been getting much emails, guys, and I miss emails. So if you would like to email us, the email address is mailsack@irrationalpassions.com. That's mailsack@irrationalpassions.com. Or you can leave us a voicemail, 404-590-1337. Standing long distance fees apply, obviously. Follow each of us on Twitter. I'm at alfighter27. Scott is at whattechuz. Nabishin, for the brief moment that he was here, is at NABESHIN186. That's Nabishin186. And Greg, you are at Gregory Blaney, all one word.
So,
Of course, listen to Malicious Underground Podcast X, the podcast about anime that Greg hosts.
yeah.
Rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. Follow the site at IrrationalPod. Go to VGEvo.com and check out the amazing podcast network there. Go to our YouTube page, youtube.com/irrationalpassions, and watch me play Zelda and watch Pancakes versus Waffles, Waffles versus Pancakes, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's funny. It's a good time. It's short. I think I'm about halfway through Skyward Sword at this point. I just finished uploading.
Yeah, you still do those. I see them posted in my subscription feed all the time. I'm just like, damn it, Alex, stop playing Zelda.
Well, I finished Skyward Sword in January. The episodes are going to go through March 26th is when the finale of that goes up. That's the finale of Alex Plays Zelda, and then I move on to a new Let's Play. But yeah, that has a finish date. I'm excited. So yeah, keep
How many
watching
views
that.
do you get on those videos per month?
It depends. Like my like different series have more views. I think Wind Waker and Majora's Mask did better than the other games.
How many top views have you gotten, though? I'm curious.
I can't think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'll have to check it after the show. But some other stuff, again, tell your friends. Word of mouth is the best way to spread the love. I say it every week, but you guys aren't doing it clearly. No, I'm just kidding. And, of course, check the website, IrrationalPassions.com. That's it. No closing topic. We were going to do Knobbish and Ass, but
We bring that back?
well, we've been doing IPTV. You missed it, Greg, where we would talk about television shows.
I mean, that's what MupX was for me, so I mean...
Yeah, very true. Like, you have a whole other podcast for that, pretty much. But yeah, we're on a tighter time limit this time. Sorry for 2 short shows in a week, or in a row, I should say. I know that's probably a good thing for most of you, since most people don't like super long podcasts, but we have a fucking quota.
If you do want to listen to a super long podcast, check out MupX, where we talk about 3 to 4 hours worth of nothing.
What
crazy
is the
shit.
longest episode? Like 4 hours and 46 minutes of that show?
Something like that, yeah. Some ridiculous. It was 5 hours before I cut some stuff.
Oh yeah, you have to trim that shit down because we bullshit way too much of that show, which makes it good. Don't misinterpret that.
No, I never misinterpret the bullshit that we do because it's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious. It's all about Yu-Gi-Oh! Always, or the original Pokemon series, one or the other.
Whatever our inner 5-year-old wants to talk about, or 9-year-old, whatever.
That's it. That's the show. Greg, thanks for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Scott,
I
of
miss you
course.
guys.
Thank you.
Internet hug.
Yeah, internet hug. Internet hug with a very small butt touch.
About now, you get a very real hug.
Right? And that's it. Thank you for listening, guys. We love you. Tune in next week for more adventures of Scott Guthier in the negative zone with the Fantastic Four. Anyway,
I don't like that zone.
I have been your host, Alex O'Neill. Play your game, stay rational. We will talk to you guys next week. I think Nabishin was here just long enough to write the title "Release the Kraken." I forgot that I wrote vector graphic penis.
Okay, you actually wrote it down.
I feel like you should just take a vector graphic penis and then just blur it with the mosaic.
Well, the title has to be. So the titles are. I'm sorry, I'm not Tony or Nabishin. I can't do this. The titles are vector graphic penis, release the Kraken, and complete the loop. 8.
Well, that was supposed to be infinity, but I can't do infinity.
I was gonna say we should have it be so that the 8 or the OO in loop is an infinity symbol, so like a sideways 8.
Yes. I don't know how you do that on a computer, so.
Hold on. We have to fix this. Infinite. I'll just Google it and copy it over. Weirdly, a picture of like an Ouroboros, like a snake eating its tail, comes up next to that as well.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that has to be the title.
Complete the loop.
Greg, do you want to say the title, and then Scott, you can say the episode number.
Sure.
It's
That way I
115 or
won't get
215.
this time.
Yeah, there you go.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, you guys are so cute.
This is Rational Passions Podcast, episode 215.
We must complete the loop.
God damn it, Greg. That's the show. You guys can stop recording. Thanks for watching. If you're watching, people,